let's look at the horrible, horrible, horrible week for Joe Biden. And I kept thinking of you this weekend because you always say, hey, people have short memories. Mm-hmm. It's April 1st, you know? Well, April is not January.
That's correct.
April's not 2023. We are months away. You think people are going to forget the way Biden reacted to Easter? Do you think they're going to forget about what he did with the cops' funeral in New York?
I know.
I mean, these are like, and you know what's crazy? It feels like they're doing this deliberately. I mean, it's not an accident. You go waltzing off to New York City and have a $500,000 a person caviar, champagne, Radio City music hall extravaganza while a cop is being laid to rest on Long Island and Trump is at the funeral of the officer?
Yeah.
And Biden couldn't even mention his name? Mark. And Easter and no religious symbols allowed at the White House and the Day of Visibility thing. And of course, that became this gigantic Armageddon-like explosion on social media over the weekend. Now, I'm going to get people annoyed with me a little bit. This Trans Day of Visibility has it's been March 31st for 15 years. So in a way, the controversy was, I won't say manufactured, but the truth of the matter is what you could really find fault with, I think, is Biden making a proclamation maybe he doesn't do the proclamation. But here's the thing, Mark, the rage is real. The anger is real. You can sit around and scold people and say you shouldn't be angry about things like this.
Yeah.
Guess what? People are angry, Mark. And that
They
anger,
are.
is that sustainable through November 5th?
You know first of all, I think some of it is. How much, I don't know. And here's the other thing I don't know. You know the Mark Davis definition of political damage. The definition of political damage, real political damage, is when people who love you don't love you anymore. The emails never hurt Hillary that much. Benghazi never hurt Hillary that much. Conservatives are the only people who cared about it. There are tons of things that don't hurt Trump because the only people who care about any one of a million things about Trump are people who hate his guts already. So what is going to for these things that you've properly chronicled to be really damaging to Biden, it's got to take people who were thinking of voting for him. And I guess it's sort of the mushy middle. Dyed-in-the-wool Democrats don't care about this stuff. They love the Trans Day of Visibility. They want that to be every day. But if people who are sort of independents or swing voters, whatever you want to call them, if they were thinking about Biden and now they are no longer, that's real political damage. And
don't you think that's happening?
I totally do.
I do
yes,
too.
I do. But how much, I don't know. And
now, Ro Khanna over the weekend said when the Israel war is over, Biden's approval numbers will start shooting up. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe that people are angry. A swath of Americans are upset with his support of Israel. But because if that's the case, we got a bigger problem on our hands. Because then we got a nation full of bigots and anti-Semites.
Got that right. Did you see what happened at St. Patrick's, at the Easter Mass at St. Patrick's, as Hamas-loving, mouthy protesters storm? Can you imagine if Christians did that at a mosque? They'd be under the jail.
That they'd never see the light of day.
Yeah,
and I wonder if these people will ever be arrested. Meanwhile, the border policies, we saw the El Paso thing before you and I. You saw it probably while you were gone. The hundreds of illegals overpowering the Texas National Guard. You know what they did to those folks? They apprehended every one of them. So that's the good news.
Oh, yeah.
Bad news is they let every one of them go into the United States.
Of course they did.
Mark,
that is the policy.
Mark, I think people are at a breaking point. And as somebody just texted from Oklahoma, we can only be terrorized and gaslighted for so long. Eventually, we're going to stand up. Yep. And I really do think that we're getting, if we're not at that point right now, I can't believe how bad this has been.
Me too, but I have a Mike Gallagher kind of feeling. I'm almost afraid to embrace how dreadful it was for Biden, seemingly, because it puts me in a mindset where I begin to think I'll never believe that winning is a sure thing, and I'll never believe that the landslide is guaranteed or anything like that. But I don't want to get too comfortable. I want to keep that fighting spirit. I want to be like the NC State Wolfpack and play like you're 10 points down at all times.
Do not let your foot up off the gas. Do not let your foot off the gas. Now's the time. We better be fighting. We better better. We have a responsibility, Mark, you and me, in the jobs we have.
Yep.
We got to make sure we're illuminating truth. We got to spotlight what's really going on. I mean, look at what they're upset with Trump about. He reposted some video of cars in a caravan in Long Island on the day of the funeral. One of the cars had some stupid bumper sticker of Biden, bound up and like he was in the back of a car or something. It was ridiculous. But you had to look for it with a microscope or a magnifying glass. That wasn't what Trump was posting they're looking at all the vehicles with Trump flags on it. But, look, and Michael Steele called Trump vermin, and this never Trump stuff, it gets into their souls.
You talk about the things that we need to do, because we got to figure out how to lovingly, or perhaps not so lovingly, tough love might be the term, deal with the people in our own party, on our own side, or are they, who need to be brought around to the reality that they are indeed Biden voters if they cannot get behind Trump. It is binary.